meeting in Town Hall upstairs if you're looking for us. As far as the quorum is concerned, we're missing one member. We have Carson,
Yeah.
Roy,
Roy Bishop present.
Eric,
Present?
and Ed Goodwin. All right, so we will, it's going to be a short meeting tonight because we have a number of postponements. We'll start right off with 72 Paradise Lane. Well, go ahead, you can, go ahead and read it, that's a good idea.
I have to read it?
Read slowly.
An audience is somewhere lacking, but in the interest of saving time, the Sturbridge Conservation Commission will hold all public hearings tonight for work within a wetland, water body, or resource area and/or within the 200-foot buffer zone to a wetland, water body, or resource area, in accordance with the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, MGL Chapter 131, Section 40, and associated regulations, and the Town of Sturbridge Wetland Bylaws and associated regulations. We will not be reading the newspaper ad. Prior to opening the first hearing for each project, the applicant is submit proof of notification to abutters within 200 feet of the subject property line and proof of legal newspaper advertisement. If these items are not submitted, the public hearing will not open. Additionally, prior to the start of each public hearing, we will announce the location of the project and the applicant's representative. If any of the visitors have not legibly signed in yet, please do. Also, if any visitors are recording this meeting, please let us know. Thank you. There are no visitors so far.
Thank you. 72 Paradise Lane, notice of intent, cantilever dock, DEP file number 300 there is no number, has been postponed.
Yep,
right.
It's postponed to our November 16th.
November 16th. All right. Next, we go to 94. We don't have to wait until the appropriate time, right? Okay. 94 Hall Road, notice of intent, culvert replacement, DEP file number, we don't have one, has also been postponed.
Written continuation.
They asked for a
request.
continuation.
Continuation didn't.
Yeah, so just vote to approve the continuation. They've asked for the continuation to the November 16th meeting.
November 16th.
Make a motion to continue the public hearing for DEP for 94 Hall Road. There is no DEP file, as Ed said, until November 16th.
Do you have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Ed Goodwin in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor.
Roy Bishop in favor.
All right. We are now to 324, the trail, notice of intent.
Maybe we should wait in case if someone does come in for that, just so they can hear that.
Okay.
Yeah, so just wait.
Is that the trail that we went on? Or is it
Do you want to go to
just the trail?
wetlands?
Yes, yep, let's do the wetland decisions.
So we're going to go to the back of the list.
15, you,
What do you want to do?
Maybe number 15?
15, some lucky number tonight. We have 74 Paradise Lane, request for a certificate of compliance, DEP file number 300-475.
All right, so this is an older orders of conditions. That was for the raise and rebuild of the house. At that time, there wasn't sewer at Big Alum, so it also included, I believe, either a tight tank or a sewer system install, which did not happen because the sewer line went in. So we needed an as-built plan. The engineer gave us the as-built plan. Have no concerns with the project. There were no perpetual conditions. And the reason this came up, because we do have, they did reach out to us and they have a notice of intent on tonight to do some modifications to their property. So we informed them that that was open and it needed to be closed out.
All right. Do you have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to issue a complete certificate of compliance for DEP file number 300-475, 74 Paradise Lane.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Carsten Stüber in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor. All right, Beck, what do you want to do next?
Number 16?
16, 76 South Shore Road, South Shore Drive, excuse me. Request for extension of an order of conditions, DEP file number 300-1077.
Oh, Peter.
Peter Nemo.
All right, so this is an order of conditions that was for some shoreline stabilization work that he did. It also included a stairway going down the embankment and some restoration plantings. The work is done. He's had the engineer go out there and look at it. He's had the plantings verified. However, the water levels have been so high on South Pond this year that they want to wait to do the certificate of compliance to next year, and that way we can document everything, because you can't see most of it at this point in time. So I see no issue with that. Recommend giving a 1-year extension.
All right,
Like, make a motion to issue a 1-year extension for DEP file number 300-1077 at 76 South Shore Drive.
Second.
second, Carson.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Carsten Stüber in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor. All right, Becky, what do you want to do next?
Hard to believe that was 3 years ago.
I know.
You know what I mean? Do you want to just keep going down
Yeah.
for now?
Old business. Administrative updates, committee updates. There is no committee update for CPA. We have not met since our last meeting. Trails, we don't have anybody on trails. Open space,
And I have nothing to report on lakes.
open space is working on the open space plan, as you know, Becky.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're working with you on that. Lakes Advisory,
I got nothing.
They had their last meeting of the year last week or the week before, and their next meeting isn't until April. I need to work with them because I don't know when your last appointment was for that, and I haven't been able to get that information from the town clerk or the board of selectmen that sits on that. And on the list online on the onboards, it doesn't even show those positions there. So I need to do some research on that to figure out all the positions on there,
Well,
so.
not that it needs to be all about me, but if they would like my attendance, a night other than Thursday night
Yeah.
might be helpful as well.
correspondence?
Yeah, well, that's on the-
Yeah, we have one correspondence, but it's related to a public hearing, so I'll give it to you for the public hearing. The person's coming in anyway, so
Okay.
unless you want it now.
This, well, why don't, this is the public hearing, right? Why wouldn't we be,
Well, I can give it to you, yeah.
yeah.
I actually have, well, I have a few other things, so we're gonna be leading here
It's not,
until.
it's not dated, right? I mean, time-wise, you don't have it.
No, it's fine, yeah, yeah. All right, so we'll give you that, and then I have a few other things as we go like into agent report.
What are we passing out for?
It's all right, just keep one. All right, so this was just correspondence from Sturbridge Crossing, the Board of Trustees, about the 200 Kane Street solar project. I know the woman's going to be here tonight, so I don't feel it's necessary to read it out loud at this time. I think she might do that during the public hearing. Right? Maybe next time. This meeting. Attach it.
This is only one?
Yeah,
Oh, did I give you, oh, I didn't mean to give you those, sorry. I was wondering whether here, I'll take those back for now. That's for the peer review part.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had them all put together for that.
Disc.
Okay.
2024 meeting schedule. Oof. Seriously.
Yeah, so that was included as part of the detailed agenda, the proposed schedule, and that's going with that 3-week schedule that we've been
All right.
proposing, so. Skips February school vacation, but I think it does fall on the April vacation, yeah.
And I don't think we're planning anything in April, so I won't have to worry about that. Now, business travel is another thing.
You can't plan that now anyway.
No, can't plan that.
Yeah.
So I will be in Dallas on the 8th, so I will not be at the second.
The 8th.
Oh, okay,
November.
okay,
November.
okay. I was thinking December, I'm like, the meeting's on the 7th, but there's another month in between there.
I don't plan on traveling in December at all, unless somebody deems it necessary. I don't deem it necessary.
Yeah, no, I have no problem with the meeting dates. So,
In the packet, there's some information about dock rules in here as they apply, just for the next meeting we have, because we do have some permanent structures on there. So what's in here is there's two things when it comes to docks. We review them under the Wetlands Protection Act for impacts to resource areas, but because all of our ponds are great ponds, they're owned by the Commonwealth, the people of the Commonwealth. So the people who live along the lakes, they don't own the bank, where the median high water is, and the land under water, the lake. So they have to get permission from a property owner to be able to put a structure. So the town has the ability to act as the harbor master seasonal structure. So there's a document in here on the rules for seasonal structures and what they require, size, distance from properties, length, things like that. In addition, we've got some information on here about Chapter 91. So if you want to put something that's permanent, that's always going to be there, whether it's a dock or some type of wall or something, mooring, you have to get approval through the waterways program through DEP. They have different rules than what the town has, but that's here. But that's related to ownership. We still have to review them for impacts to resource areas under the bylaw and under the state act. So this is just information for you here. They're different from each other, but that's the ownership aspect. So you're aware. Just something to read. We can do that. Number 3 now. 6:15.
Wanna do number 3?
Yep.
Oh, so, that's all we're going to talk about with regard to, going to number 3. 324, the trail, notice of intent, cantilever docks and stone wall, DEP file number 300-XXXXX, postponed. Any further discussion on that?
No, it's being postponed to the November 16th meeting.
All right.
All right, while we're waiting.
National Grid?
Oh, you can, oh yeah, they're not here.
Yeah, they're just not on, which
What?
they're not on here yet. I do have everything we need to move forward on it if,
Okay, all right.
You know.
Well, let's go back.
well, we actually don't, we can wait a few minutes. We have time.
Okay.
We have a gap until 6:45, so we can give them a few minutes to come on if maybe they're having a technical difficulty.
Okay.
But while we're waiting for that, what I will do is I will give you, which you can read, our Allen's peer review memo
Oh,
on
good.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, so just before you start reading it, just so you're aware, Art did go out there, and he did his field review of that. There was a couple revisions to the wetland delineation based off some recent beaver flooding. They did revise all the materials and submitted a comprehensive package, including a revised NOI, revised site plans, etc., to address that.
is it all right if Carson has one?
You can have one this time.
Just check.
Usually open the agenda in email. Did have it later. No. Maybe we should do it. I know. Gotta do that. And then email.
They are still not on, right?
What?
They're still not on. They were supposed to be at the 6:16.
We do the agent's report.
We can technically open, we don't really need them.
You want to read it?
There we go.
You can do it now, Ed. She's on.
Okay. All right. We're now to National Grid.
And there.
Eileen? Eileen?
Yes, hello.
Hello. We're waiting for you, so here we go. National Grid.
Okay, I'm,
301
yep,
line.
all set.
Notice of intent, subsurface geological borings, DEP file number 300-1173. So,
All right, just for a quick summary, so since the last meeting, we were able to have the peer review authorized, and they've been out there to the site. Eileen, I just gave the board members the report to read, so they just had an opportunity to read that. Art did have a couple recommendations for revisions to a few flags. The project team did pick that up, and they revised all of the materials, which we have those materials, and they were provided to Art for review. Art did review them and quickly turned around this peer review memo. So Art has no concerns with the revisions, and he's okay with what they're proposing for the beaver mitigation while they're doing that work. And then also, just so the other members are aware, I worked with Ed on this. Because of the time of year and it's critical, so there's 4 areas with beavers. Originally it was thought that 2 areas were gonna have dams that needed to be breached. That's been moved down, I guess I could say. There's only McKinstry Brook, which is the area where we have to have a dam removed, and they're proposing to put a decoy dam in. I did go out there with Board of Health and Beaver Solutions, who has the proposal in place. How you doing? And Board of Health is issuing an emergency approval. I talked to Ed about it, and we issued yesterday an emergency approval for that, because by the time we'd have our permit issued, it'd be much colder, and it's not a good time of year to be doing that type of work. So it's not, there's 3 dams in that area, it's a very small area, so that area has been satisfied. The other area where they're proposing to do one of the breaches, they've gone back out there and looked at that, and they do think that they're able to put the construction mats over that, because of the time of year, it's going to be more frozen conditions, and or only maybe have to do like a minimal breach to that dam. So Art's reviewed all that, taken a look at it, he's on board with their proposal. So at this time, I have no concerns with this. I don't know if you have any questions for Eileen, or Eileen, if there's anything else you
Is
want to
Eileen up to speed with Art's recommendations?
Yes.
Or just-
Yep, I informed him of all of that,
Okay.
so. Eileen, did I miss anything in there?
No, I think that was it.
All right,
You guys have any questions, or?
I don't know, that sounds good.
Looks like they addressed all of,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Yep,
So-
so,
Continuation to the 16th?
no, I think we're ready, you can vote on it.
Ready to vote?
Yeah,
Okay.
so I didn't have conditions in there for you, so I just put a couple of things together. So obviously, all of our standard pre-construction conditions during work and post-work conditions would apply. They are going to have an environmental monitor, provide oversight during the work. I would add that as a condition, and I mean, just so you know, typically what we'd add is that you guys would provide the board with the name and qualifications of the individual for approval, just demonstrating that they have experience doing that work.
Sure, not a problem.
And then one of the other conditions is something they're already offering, is that they'd have Beaver Solutions on site for any work in those 4 areas with the beavers. So I would just add a condition for that as well. And then I just add also that at the end of the work, that they provide a report noting any wetland impacts with recommendations for repairs if needed. What they're proposing to do is to put these construction mats down during the frozen conditions, so I wouldn't anticipate anything, but just as a summary and to see if anything does happen that might need remediation.
Right.
Eileen, you good with all those conditions? Any concerns?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
All right. Do I have a motion?
Well, we don't have any public, so, yeah, I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Ed Goodwin in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor.
With regards to the project at the row 301 line, DEP file number 300-1173, I'd like to make a motion to approve the project with the conditions that the agent just lined out and the applicant agreed to.
Second.
With a second, any discussion? All in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor. Thank you, Eileen.
Thanks very much.
Yep.
Thanks, have a good night.
You too.
All right. We are now at 328 The Trail. Notice of intent, cantilever docks and repair shoreline wall, DEP file number 300, no number. Postponed.
November 16th.
Thank you. Putting that in. All right, now we are at 595 Main Street. Are we ahead, too far ahead? Are we-
Nope, right on time. This would have been perfect.
All right, 599 Main Street and Route 20, row notice of intent, Mass dot, Route 20, drainage project file, DEP file number 300-1175. And you, Becky, you said that that was waiting for a signature?
Yes, they're waiting for, they did revise, just as a quick summary, so they had, DEP had a few comments for them. They did revise all the materials, submitted those, took away those, appears they've addressed all of DEP's concerns. But right, they're still waiting for property owner signature from the property owner of 595 Main Street, which they're working on, so they've asked for a continuation to the November 16th meeting.
All right. Do we have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to continue the public hearing for DEP file number 300-1175 till November 16th.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Carsten Stüber in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor?
Ned Goodwin in favor. We are now to 62 Mount Dan Road. Notice of intent for cantilever dock, DP file number 300. No number. Postponed.
Yes.
November 16th.
Yeah.
All right. All right, we are now,
I'm gonna wait. So while we have some time here, going back, it's not on the agenda because we just did it yesterday, is that we need to ratify. We issued the emergency authorization for the breach of that beaver dam in the National Grid right-of-way on line 301 from McKinstry Brook. So it's the breach of that dam and the building of the decoy dam upstream. Just need to ratify that.
Just have to, my son's is
for the emergency,
Yeah, when it's issued outside a meeting, you just
Or
need
when
to
it
do the
comes
next
back.
meeting. Yeah, it's fine. I did send out an email today, our site visit at 71 Mashpog Road in November,
9:30.
9:30, yeah, I pushed that back, so. Do you want me to do updates real quick?
what was the date on that again?
November 29th.
29th, 9:30.
I'm presenting in Brazil virtually
Oh.
that day.
Did you want to send you
What
down there?
time, what time do you have to do that? In the
1
weird-
o'clock.
Weird hours? Oh,
No, 1 o'clock. I was like, do you want me to present in Brazil? Okay. Do I have to brush up on my Portuguese? I said, no.
Do you have anything for us to sign?
No, I signed it because you authorized me. We just need to ratify it.
All right.
It's already been
I'd
issued.
like to make a motion to ratify the emergency authorization for the Beaver project at McKinstry Brook for the 301 row project
National Grid.
for National Grid.
Do I have a second?
second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Ed Goodwin in favor?
Carsten Stüber in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor?
All right, now we are going back and forward to Whittemore, right?
No, we can't do that one yet.
5 more minutes.
5 more minutes? Okay, well then,
No, that one's at
15.
6:45.
Oh, 15 minutes.
15 minutes,
15 minutes.
15 minutes, yeah.
Beavers?
Anybody have any good jokes?
are we back
I got a
in?
couple of things.
Are we clean at the back end?
Agents report?
Yep.
Go ahead.
So just updates, 23 Old Hamilton Road. That's the one where they had to do the replanting on the lake and the pond side of that property. They did the plantings, we went out there today and were able to verify. I think they actually have more plantings than they proposed out there, so.
Oh, good.
It actually looks really good.
Good.
So we let them know that we went out there. They do have some monitoring requirements, so just reminded them of that, so. Plantings are in. Last week when we went out and did the site visits, we did stop at 110 Brookfield Road. He had most of that stuff completed, had all the Jersey barriers. He actually did it along the whole line that abuts the town property when you first go in, behind the containers, which he moved up. And then he was just waiting for posts for, I wasn't sure what he was gonna do. I think he said he had put a couple posts and the trucks were backing into him. I went by there today and they're actually putting up like a wooden guardrail along that line between where the trucks are backing in and the trees and the house to the south. So he's working on that, and when we were out there, he actually called the land surveyor to come out and document that. We gave him an extension to the next meeting, so we should have all that wrapped up by that meeting.
Cool.
Yep, good.
This would have been a good one to, like, get an accounting of all the outstanding enforcement orders and know where we sit with all of them, since we have a gap.
Yeah.
Well, what other old business do we have? Anything?
I didn't really,
No?
We're gonna do Mount Dan.
oh, well, yes, we have some new business here, but, well, I don't need this anymore.
I don't know if we have time for it.
Huh?
New business.
Joking? Okay. So, I was informed of work occurring out on Mount Dan Road. I'm just gonna pass down, this is just the 1, 2, 3, 4, the correspondence that I've had with, the road association out there. So I was informed Monday of work occurring out there. I mean, we were told that the road was being regraded. It's something that they continually do out there. The town used to do some of those services in the past. So we went out there and there actually was a significant amount of more work that was done. And there's a concern, you might want to start with the email on the back, but a lot of work that occurred, some actually on town property. When you first get onto Mount Dan Road, it's actually town property up there to the dam. There was a culvert that connects a wetland to a river that was replaced, a wetland that was dug out and ditched as part of the ditch going along the road. And then, you know, they're saying ditch modifications, maintenance, but some really steep slopes and some ditches put in that go down all to catch basins that lead to lake. Like some of the ditches, the side slopes that were created that they cut in, you can see in the telephone poles where the dirt was, they actually dug out all around that. They're like almost like 90-degree slopes, and there's just like they're just dirt swales now that go down to these catch basins that when it rains, that's all gonna end up in the lake or the river. So went out there, took a look at it, reached out to my contact that I had from before for the road association, got this response back today. I also reached out to the Big Alum Lake Association to see what they knew. The contractor is Piapi Construction, who usually does their maintenance out there. There's, you know, one area is more concern, which was on the town property where the wetland was actually dug out and ditched, and that pipe was replaced. The other stuff I think that the board would have supported, it required a filing, but in its current state, being left open and exposed like that is going to have some significant impacts when we get rain. The response I got back from the road association today, it doesn't sound like they're willing to, that they were planning on doing anything to those swales and those slopes, which I think if they don't, I did ask them, I said, I'm available today, I can meet you out there, you know, I think we need to take a look at it and go over these areas. And I haven't heard back from him, so. They go back out today, because from the response from the road association that they might be working out there, but they weren't working. I did leave my card on a big piece of
Is
equipment.
there any,
There's no erosion controls or anything out there.
no stone?
No, there's, like,
Is Piapi's equipment still there?
yeah,
Yes.
So they haven't done anything?
they haven't done anything since you went out there too, yeah. Yeah.
And this isn't just routine maintenance, this is clearly something else.
I invite you to take a ride through there yourself.
Yeah. It,
Yeah, the history of it, as you read it, is pretty legit. You know, that it's their road. They pay to have it done. And so but it's gone a little out of control. Along the upper side of the road, the excavation around the you know, into a lot of the pockets is extensive compared to what it has been in past years. So, and they also put a pipe in on our property.
I do have some photographs if you want me to.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have photographs of everything, but just some of it.
Yeah.
See them in the file.
So what do we have to do?
Probably nothing, but get to a point. I mean, they really should be, what should happen is they should tell us what they're doing, what they're gonna do, and get our approval to do it prior to starting.
That would have been ideal.
What?
That would have been the ideal thing, but.
Yeah, that would, beyond that.
Don't we need to have them armor the slope as well if they're creating?
Yeah, I think they do need, well, that's kind of, they do need to armor the slope, and he may have that intent. He hasn't gone in with any material, he's just carved. So far, he's just carved, from what I saw.
Right where the end of that black pipe is that she has, that was
A wetland.
a very well-established vegetated wetland area.
Right.
So, let me. So this over here is where the perennial, this is where the wetland was dug out. This pipe was installed. There was a pipe there. And on the other side of the road is a perennial stream that it discharges into.
And you think that that is work we would have permitted, so we just probably need an NOI after the fact, or you don't think that?
I don't think that was a direct wetland impact. That would have been, if it was necessary to happen, mitigation, wetland replication, there would have been other things. I don't know that, there could have been alternatives to having to carry the ditch down there and do that work. I don't think that we probably would have, as it was done, permitted that as is.
Right.
So, no. Going up the road, yes, provided they armor and protect these slopes, the road work, I think, would have been fine. But see how it's all, this isn't even the real steep area, I don't know if I have a picture of it, but it would, see this line here? That's how much dirt was taken out of here. So this came down here. You know, this, you know, what he's doing, he's trying to, the water runs down the road here, so he's trying to create a ditch to catch it. This goes straight down, no check dams, nothing, all the way down into that ditched wetland. This is back down where the wetland was, not the best picture. I don't know that I have any of the real steep slopes. Right, this is the view going up with the lake in the background of that wetland.
Is that the old one or is that the new one?
That's
The new
one.
picture.
New one, right? Okay.
Yeah. I don't think I have, this is on the other side of the road where the stream is here. You know, it just kind of expanded the roadway, took out a lot of vegetation over here. Down here, this is the biggest concern area, I think. The upper parts of the road, I think they stabilized that. They could have filed a notice of intent, got approval to do that work. I think those are probably good modifications, but right, leaving it as is up there is not good. This area down here, this is a real significant issue, I think.
I'm just curious, like, did you get a chance to talk to DEP and get them to weigh in on why 3 years ago they just determined that this is no longer something they're taking on?
Oh, DPW?
DPW. Sorry, yeah, DPW,
Well, there is
sorry.
a town, well, I think that some DPW directors were just doing a lot of work to help out on those roads,
Yeah.
but there is a town bylaw that limits what the town can do on the roadways. And that is why I think that it came up with our past DPW director that there is this bylaw here and we cannot, as a town, go out on private property and do that work. They only are supposed to be keeping the roads passable for emergency vehicles, so filling potholes and plowing, and that's the reason why.
So their feeling then is it's always been done, now it's on us, and they're claiming that
No, they've been doing
ignorance of
it. No, it's been on them for a long time.
well, it's in here 3 years ago.
Yeah, they may have done that bureaucratically, but PRB's been out there with a grader on that road a long time,
Okay.
every year, about this time.
So when they grade it and create disturbance, which is gonna create potential for silting, or, when it's graded, do we need erosion controls to be put in when something like that happens, or?
I don't think so. We typically don't get involved when they do the normal maintenance on those roads, like grading, or they clean out the catch basins and normal cleaning of a ditch. We don't usually get involved in that type of stuff.
But this is altering, this isn't.
Yeah, but it's a little more than that. I mean, I think the next step, I think, you know, I'm waiting, like I said, I'm waiting for a response on that. I think erosion controls are necessary. I think we need to tell them that they need to do something to protect those areas.
Yeah.
But I do think you need to get eyes on it too, to see it.
Yeah, the worst one, you didn't do the,
I didn't have the worst one when you go down the
Yeah, I
steep
didn't
hill,
either.
yeah.
there's one area where the side of the road is probably the height of that X down to here, and it's carved in at an angle that is almost vertical of just mud.
Yeah.
And, I mean,
And
considering,
it's gonna be a problem, so they need to put something in there, and they may intend to.
Yeah.
well, from the email, it doesn't sound like it. That said that would, if they had to do things, like, they didn't budget for anything else, I think.
Yeah. What's in their budget, though? He said 50K to me.
Oh, I don't know, all I have is that, yeah, he didn't call me, I just have that email correspondence, so.
Okay. Where do you want to go with this? I mean, I think we should
Need to
send them a
look,
note and tell them we've got several concerns,
yeah,
and we, you know,
well, that's what I did, and that's the response I got, so.
yeah, but it was, I think I'd go back at that.
Okay,
With the, you know, on town property, something has to be done in the ends of the, of that, and then the vertical slopes have got to be armored in some way.
I mean, at the end of the day, if it's on town property.
It is.
Right,
Oh, that is, yeah, the pipe
Right.
is, yeah.
then don't we need to get PIAPI involved in one way, shape, or form? Because even the road association has nothing to do with that, right? At the end of the day.
Well,
It's-
they hired him.
But,
I don't know if that was part of the scope of the work of the contract
The
or
other
not.
thing-
I think we need to get the road association representative to meet us,
Yeah.
a few members, you need to look at it and decide, and if they say, we're not gonna do anything, then you have tools to use to say, no, you need
On
to.
the one that's on our property, you'd say, put a couple buckets of stone in there and it'll be fine. It's flat to flat.
yeah, I haven't seen it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
The other ones,
I mean, because it becomes semantics, like they know what is appropriate and what's not appropriate, and cutting the side of a hill down and then not armoring it is probably not
Tree
appropriate.
removal.
what?
They cut down trees that's not in any of the pictures, but this big around, just,
Yeah, there's some trees that were taken down to do that, so it was a little bit, it was beyond normal maintenance, but
Let's-
I,
Yeah, so let's do what you recommended, which is to get the head of the association to meet up there with us.
okay. But I think if anyone has the opportunity to take a ride immediately to go look at that, I'm gonna remind them, we have rain coming and there's a concern. I will send that correspondence out tomorrow and try to schedule that. And I think if we don't get a response, I think the board needs to take a look at it and.
All right,
sign it
all right,
forward.
since
6:45, it looks.
it is 6:45, we have a special guest and he wants to go home and go to bed, so we're gonna move on. 59 Whittemore Road, SWB, notice of intent, construction of a barn, pool, fence, and grading. Okay?
Yeah, so I have your plan up here, and I'll just start off if you want me to, and then you can add anything to it.
Yep.
So just for the public hearing, we have proof of butter notification and legal advertisement. You can see on the site plan, there's, what's proposed is in red here. So they are currently building a house on this property outside of the buffer zone. We were able to verify that when they came through the building department for their building permit. They had resource areas delineated at that time. And what they'd like to do is add on a pool in this back area and a barn. You can also see where the erosion controls jog down to the south there. There was a driveway, kind of roadway that was put in before they owned it. They'd like to take that out. What we have on property is there are 2 isolated wetlands. These wetlands are only jurisdictional under our bylaw. They're not jurisdictional under the State Act as they don't meet the volume and depth of water requirements. We did go out there and take a look at it last week when we did our site visits. Didn't see any concerns. There is some fill they'll need to bring in. You can see the site kind of slopes down to the west there. So they'll have to bring in fill. They do have erosion controls proposed. One thing we did see out there we were talking about is the perimeter drain coming out. They did talk about adding, their general contractor was out there about adding some armoring to protect that from channelization coming out. There's a lot of constant flow coming out of there. So I think that kind of summarizes the project. Is there anything you guys wanted to add?
Yeah, just on that side, I know there was concern with the sidewalk out there where it slopes down. That's another main reason why we're bringing in fill over there to try to create, help help the water table,
Okay.
stop issues from that.
Any questions from the board?
Eric?
No, I'm good.
Person?
Oh, I did have one question. Sorry. Did you and Ted meet on
Bonds?
bonds? And would this fall under any of the discussions that you've had?
We
know
did
we-
meet briefly, and we just didn't have an opportunity to kind of put together a schedule. We kind of focused on new developments, commercial projects, and also, yeah, for existing kind of residential, more shoreline work. And because usually like a shoreline work requires a waiver, and when waivers are involved, there'd be a mitigation. So mostly when those type of projects or a project like this involves some type of mitigation, that's really when we are kind of thinking that the bond would be more necessary. We had that garage, I think, maybe 2 meetings ago. It was that existing single family, and we didn't add the bond on. I think until we all talk about it, that maybe we avoid bonds for some of these smaller
Well,
projects.
this isn't the house either.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, I was just curious if there was anything on it, so, no.
A good question, I was just,
Yeah. No, I'm good.
That said, any other further questions? Anybody in the audience?
Just make sure, we have a couple people
No.
online here.
We got one.
Thank you. What would you like me to do?
I would like you to come up to a microphone so that you can be heard for the folks.
You just need to state your name, too.
Oh, did everybody who came in late sign in?
Patricia Morrison, 66 Old Farm Road, and I'm in a butter. I was very glad to see that the wetlands, it's just a local,
The jurisdiction, yeah.
yes,
Yep.
thank you. So that was, I was very glad to see that. So I gather that there are no, oh goodness, what's the word I want? Species of animals or anything that are involved in it.
So
That-
yeah, usually if it's a vernal pool, it's going to have to hold water to a depth to be able to support them for breeding there. And no, that's not what we were seeing out here. The one closest to development is actually just a wet meadow.
Okay.
yeah.
And also, I was just curious as what the extent of the building, or would be I don't want to call it encroachment, but the extent of the, what part of it.
Yeah, so you can
it's-
see, these areas here, what they're already kind of working on, they did some grading here. They're not proposing to go up into the tree line over here. This little, you can't really see it, this little bumped line right here is the tree line, and it looks like they're starting right at kind of where the open old field is.
I
So
see.
they're leaving that vegetative buffer there.
Okay, and just one last question. I'm just curious as to the purpose of the barn, if that's even anything that's appropriate, if that's an appropriate question to ask. And if it isn't, then I apologize.
Just personal reasons.
Yeah, just because, for storage, extra storage, for, things like that.
All
yeah.
right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody else in the audience or online?
I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second?
Second,
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor.
Ed Gooder in favor.
With regards to 59 Whittemore Road under the Sturbridge Wetland Bylaw, I'd like to make a motion to approve the project with the conditions outlined in the detailed agenda.
I second that.
Second.
Any discussion?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor.
Ed Gooder in favor. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
He's 2 for 2, he hasn't said a word.
Yeah, I think so.
Must be really easy to have babies these days, huh? All right.
We have a couple minutes.
Sarah, I'll contact you when your permit is all set, okay? Give you a couple days. We could get them.
Yep.
However you guys want to come up. It's a couple minutes ahead, but at least we'll be ready to officially start when it's your turn. I went through all that today, but I'll take care. Thank you.
The first one's actually the last while.
Oh, okay.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. Just so you have it.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
You doing? Good.
Oh, yeah. Why am I pulling that
Put the
one?
color
Yeah,
plans.
forgetful.
We're ahead of schedule, so we're trying to drag our feet.
I have a baby to bring in. Sorry.
How can you top that?
A puppy?
He's 16. He's not even that cute, you know?
Candy? I don't know.
I mean, next time you have
Yeah.
to.
I'm learning as I'm going.
Halloween costume? I don't
I
know.
know you could dress up for the holiday.
You go home and tell your wife that you're gonna have a baby in order to get this thing done. It's not gonna go over well.
Oh boy, that'll go over good.
Should have brought all the teenagers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
all right. We're at 168 Lane 7, notice of intent, raise and rebuild of a lakefront single-family home with associated appurtenances, DEP file number 300-1177.
All right, and just for the record, we have proof of legal ad receipt and a butter notification.
All right. Should I start off? All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Rob Lucier with CMG, the civil engineer on the project. With me is also Steve Quink, the property owner and the applicant. This project may look familiar to some of you. I know we were here back in 2017. It was filed under McClure Engineering back when I was with McClure Engineering. But the project basically entailed some tree work and some hardscape improvements, which as of right now, it was really just the tree clearing that occurred, and the hardscape improvements were not done. So we requested a COC just recently, and now we're basically moving into a second phase of the project, which would include demolishing the existing house and rebuilding relatively in the same place. There are some minor areas that we're actually enlarging a bit, which, is this the, oh, excellent. So the areas that we're increasing a bit, there's a bump out in the house here, and then the front here is actually going to be a garage under, because this is basically a circular gravel driveway. So there's a slight increase here and a slight increase here, but pretty much the remainder of the house is staying the same. There's a new covered porch here, which looks like it might be encroaching, but actually there's a existing stone patio in the front, which we're actually reducing the impervious area by using this in the front of the house. There's also proposed improvements to the hardscapes behind the building. Right now there's concrete stairs located here with a concrete patio behind the existing house. Right now the proposal is to remove the concrete stairs in this area and replace with pressure treated timbers and gravel. We have a detail on the plans just kind of showing what we're proposing there. And then there's stone stairs going down to this pond, which is, I believe I'm going to butcher the name of it, Quasit Pond.
Better just say south.
Yeah. South Pond, we'll call it.
Oh, if you're gonna, I didn't know that you renamed it. That's excellent.
I want to see how long you.
Okay, fair enough. Excellent. I did not get the memo that it is now South Pond. So South Pond, which there's actually a flood zone AE associated with the pond, which actually, I believe, was it Becky or Aaron who did the wonderful coloring job?
I did the coloring job.
Excellent. Did a better job than me.
Won the coin toss. No.
So right now, there's basically the concrete stairs go down to about halfway down the slope, and then there's a stone, it transitions to stone stairs, which go right down to South Pond. Right now, the proposal is to remove the stone stairs and replace with granite steps. Since the house is being demolished, there's a little bit more access to the back there. That's a lot easier than if the house was remaining. With that, there's also a proposed patio with a deck above here. I can tell you that right now, with the proposal we have, we're going to be looking more into the hardscapes in behind the house, because we're aware that during the site walk there was some questions about constructability. There is a very steep slope behind the house, so that's something that we really want to look at. And as we move forward with the project, we'll most likely be bringing back the proposed limit of work behind that house, just for the commission to be aware of. And with that, we've received DEP file number and some comments, which we're happy to address. We did receive some comments also from the Board of Health, which we're going to just add a couple things to the plans and send some information along to Ken Lacey so he has answers to his questions. I know we also have some comments from Becky, which we're happy to address any comments from the staff. And also, we had to submit to Mass Wildlife as well for a regulatory review due to, I believe it's because there's an invasive species in...
Plant.
In the pond.
Oh, it's a plant.
Yeah, it's a
okay,
plant.
in South Pond.
Yeah.
So that has been submitted. It is currently under review. And I believe that's all that I have. Hopefully I did not miss anything. Happy to answer any questions.
Eric?
And I'm just looking at these plans. Do we have do you have the calculations for the size of the footprint versus the old size of the footprint? The new house versus the old?
He does on the real plan. I just blow up the detail box.
Yeah, I can
on
go-
the real plan has all that.
Do you want me to pull the other one up?
Yeah, are you?
Curious of the square footage difference, number one, number two.
Oh,
That's on the-
Is there anything that would preclude us from moving that back out of the 25-foot?
There is a small, there is a overhead power line in front of the house that's limiting, well, I don't want to speak for the applicant, but that's limiting his ability to move the house much
Yeah,
further
see right here,
forward.
OHE. So there's, right, overhead electrical lines right here.
Yeah.
And then also too, I don't know how much that does, but the tank is right here as well as the septic leach field too.
Gotcha.
and regarding the 25-foot buffer, really the encroachment is this patio that was proposed below. And we're not going to have an encroachment into the 25-foot buffer. That'll be moved out of the buffer with the plan reviews.
Oh, okay.
The house itself isn't in that. The house, we're holding the same footprint of the house on the water side. The encroachment's on the other side, where like the front of the house here, which is away from the pond.
Yeah, I was just curious if it sounds like on the revised plan, the patio is gonna come back a little bit and be outside of the 25-foot. That makes me happier.
Yeah, after the second look, this is a very steep slope. So the idea was, since the house is getting demolished, it'll be easier to get equipment in there to make things more constructible. But then you still have the issue of the disturbance within a very steep slope.
Well, that's the concern I have,
yeah, so we're gonna,
Doesn't work.
we want to pull it back to basically where the slope, the top of the slope is now.
There's a small patio there now.
Correct, yeah. So basically, we want to keep within the limits of the existing patio, essentially.
Okay.
Where do you speak? If you get the click on that?
There's one over here.
There's one here that doesn't
That
work.
one's not working for him.
Do you need the?
I don't see it. I don't have one.
I only have, somebody must have taken it home. I only have one. Everything in the bathroom.
Yeah, I have one at home. Is that a problem?
Yeah, you're the culprit.
Oh, that worked.
Oh,
Takes a strong thumb. I haven't been working out.
Try it again.
All right.
Operator error.
It's okay. Maybe the battery's low.
So now the patio that you're concerned about saving is where?
The patio is right here behind the house. So I don't know if, so the house is actually a walkout because it's built into the slope. So this front of the house is 1 story. When you look at the back of the house, the basement's a walkout, so it's a 2-story.
Yeah.
There's a small concrete patio that basically you walk out into from the walkout basement. So the idea was to enlarge this a bit, but we realize now that there's a 25-foot buffer, and as I was saying, the constructability, you know, we have the same concerns that I believe was back, somebody raised it during the site walk. So that's why it just makes sense to pull it back, and we'll stay out of that 25-foot buffer.
And then when you build the house, you know, that we'll have to put a new foundation in, so they got to dig out a little bit past the existing foundation, but it sounds like that will be in kind of the footprint of where the existing patios are, so we don't have to go into the hillside. Right. They can keep it within that area.
And to that point, since this is a walkout, it's on a slab in the back, so it'll be a lot less digging than if there's a full foundation with a basement back there, which there isn't.
Can you slide it back down a little bit back?
So you can see the lake part, like this way?
No, I'm actually looking at this, right here.
Yeah.
So now you've changed the plan since we were out there and are going to put in granite steps.
We talked about that.
I just heard you say, right?
Yeah, that's on these plans. Existing 3-foot wide stone stairs to be removed and replaced with granite stairs. That was...
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that at the site visit.
Oh, okay. Apologies.
So they're going to be 3 feet?
Yeah, it would just
going from, what, 2 feet to 3 feet?
No, I believe it is 3 feet currently. It would be whatever the same footprint is of those stairs.
Whatever those stones.
Yeah.
Which is not 3 feet.
Okay.
So you're expanding that. So I don't have any problem with that. If I was doing it, I would do that. I think that's a good, not that my opinion matters, but I'm just, you know.
Yeah.
It does.
But to Eric's point, with the power lines and the septic, I still think that within the construction, since you are totally demolishing and totally building a new foundation and structure, that I would slide this back by a couple feet. I would push this whole project back, not just by a couple feet.
Yep.
I think you could really, you could save it from the hillside getting blown out.
The only concern with that is there's a stone wall on the side of the house.
Where is that?
Right here.
Right.
That would, see if it comes right around here.
Yeah.
Which require us to dig that out. And that kind of comes along here that way. It's because we thought about that, but that's what our concern is.
It would seem to me that you could work that. Now, I'm only asking you, and if you had to slip it this direction, that way 1 foot and back 2 feet or something like that, you're right on the edge. You're on the precipice.
Yeah.
It would really make me a lot more comfortable with the project if you did that. I don't think it complicates your life too much, and in fact, I think down the road it might make your life a little easier. And then when you get to putting in the deck, maybe the deck is back to the size a little bit larger or whatever. But I think taking that construction away from the edge, I'm sure you have a better contractor than I would have had, but you never know what you're going to get when you get up in the morning.
Right.
Yeah. That's my recommendation on it.
Okay.
Anybody else? No? All right.
I don't see any trees being removed.
There's one, it's on the,
Right.
This one right here?
Yeah, that one.
So right at anything replacing that?
We don't have anything proposed, but
it's pretty
something we can certainly look at.
Pretty well vegetated?
It's okay. And This is a septic system here, right? Did you have that done the last time you came before us? Is that when that was done?
The stockpile part, or?
The septic?
This, yeah.
There was nothing with the septic
That was there.
last time.
Yeah.
That hasn't been done in any,
No,
so you're
we-
gonna have that tested and keep it?
That's what Board of Health is asking to verify.
Yeah, because we have the Title V report for that, so.
Yeah, and I think, right,
Same
Board of,
number of rooms?
Yeah, exactly, we're not, there will be no
okay.
increase to the bedrooms.
Got my,
and just for those who haven't been out here, the whole bankment going down is all vegetated. There's trees,
Natural.
there's shrubs, natural, it's great. He's got a big property, lots of trees.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
It is steep, but it's all naturalized shore.
All right.
Excellent.
all right, anybody in the audience that would like to speak on this? We do have some people online here too.
Yeah, this is Ed Hovan. I'm next door, 170 Lane 7. Right in the middle of that diagram you're showing, it says 170 Lane 8 by mistake. I just wanted to point that out. But I think I just heard Steve there. How you doing, Steve?
Good, thanks, Ed.
Awesome. So that septic location, if you were to, you see that little existing shed that's more north and west, the small skinny one, not that one, the other one. If you were to go straight north on that, that would run into my well, my approximate well location. Is it, I'm sure somebody took that into consideration when they put that septic system there, or is that something that needs to be reviewed, i.e., will that impact my well?
Septic system was probably installed pre-regulations and, it's well
Yeah,
picked
but-
up on that.
Yeah, it's not, I mean, we have the Title V report, which I don't know what the date of installation of that septic system is. But as far as if we were to recite it, then that's when you'd have
You're
to,
not reciting it.
correct. Yeah,
Okay.
we're not. So,
You're not proposing any modifications to the current system, it's just the existing system is there already.
correct, because it passed the Title V inspection.
Okay.
Okay, so I missed that. I thought somebody said earlier that they weren't sure where it was, or maybe I read that on one of the documents I read that were filed
So,
that.
so you're thinking, this plan just doesn't show where, their current well is, they're gonna add that and put that on there for Board of Health? And then, right, Board of Health did have some questions and wanted to verify that the system that's in place here is sufficient moving forward, so they're gonna work with Board of Health on that.
Yep.
And we should know something maybe for
All right,
the
so-
meeting,
Where
hopefully.
is it roughly now?
The existing well?
Yeah.
It is right near the garage.
Yeah, that's right, you told us when we were out there.
Yeah, so I believe it's right in here somewhere. So, and we have that located, my mistake not adding it onto the plan, so we'll include that.
All right.
All right, so what you're saying is I don't have to worry at all?
What's the question?
He's just concerned about it impacting as well, but since there's no disturbance,
It's the same impact that it would have.
yeah, it's whatever it is today.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're, it wouldn't disturb it if you didn't do anything to, digging up the old house and maybe blasting and putting in a foundation and all that. So I don't know that house has a foundation now with a basement in it.
It's a
And I wonder if
cinder block
will the new house have a foundation with a basement in it, so you're digging very deep, or is it still kind of shallow?
No, so the elevations of the foundation are going to stay roughly the same. It's a walkout basement, so the rear portion of the house is actually on slabs, so we would hold that same elevation, so it would be limited digging. We wouldn't have to dig, 8 to 10 feet down in the back of the house to put in the foundation.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, answer my questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, anybody else? Anybody in the audience like to speak on this? Diane?
Continuation till the 16th of November, is that the request?
Next meeting.
Yeah, I think that, we can do that.
All right. With regards to DEP file number 300-1177, 168 Lane 7, I'd like to make a motion to, what is the word I'm looking for? Continue the public hearing until November 16th.
Second.
Been a rough day.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Ed Goodman in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor?
Ruth Bishop in favor.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Take it easy.
35 Wells Park, comes out next.
So where are we at now?
Number 10.
Wells Park, 38.
Is that the clicker?
Oh, no, that's ours, yeah, but thank
Oh, all
you.
Can't lose any more of them. You gotta leave it too.
Number 10, Wells Park Road, request for determination of applicability, construction of a paver patio.
I'm just gonna pull up.
I am not. They had to go out of town, so I'm here. Tom Silva. I'm gonna build the roof attached to the garage, that part there.
Just for the record, we have proof of legal ad and a butter notification for the public hearing. So, do you want to keep going, or do you want me to go into the patio a little bit?
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. So this project, this is a single-family house in proximity to Walker Pond. There is a stream on the property, so it's a developed lot. So in addition to the roof, they're also building a patio out here and doing some landscape improvements. Most of the footprint where the patio was either a brick patio previously or a lawn area. They weren't aware of the filing requirements, so they actually started the patio work already. The roof has not been constructed. The work does appear to be just over 50 feet from resource area. We went out there was no, when we went out there for the patio part, which he's not building, there's no concerns for erosion or anything. There's no stockpiling of earth and material out there. So as far as moving this forward through a determination, I think you can do that with some conditions for that. And let me just find where my notes are here. So if you want to move forward with it, issue determination, I'd recommend a negative number 3. Conditions would be the kind of standard pre-work and sign-off conditions. Excavated material not to be reused, to be moved from the site. They already started, but I'd add that in there anyways.
Yeah.
A positive 2B, we're not giving a resource area approval, and then a positive 5, the project subject to the local bylaw with the conditions noted beforehand. How much digging to get the footings in?
Say that again?
How much digging to get the footings in, or are you doing like the pilings?
Yeah, I had to put 3 sonotubes in on the corner. There's one there, and there. And they're actually under the brick.
Okay,
So my ornamental post comes down, and then they're gonna put the brick around it.
okay. So you're not excavating the lot out of there?
No.
And with the roof, you're satisfied with whatever drainage is being,
Yeah, it's gonna drip into, well, I guess it's gonna drip into the patio, or?
Same location.
Yeah, he's gonna put, again, we're gonna have gutters, and it's gonna come down right there where the existing one comes down, and he's gonna put a rain barrel there, and he's gonna put a rain barrel there, so some of the water will go this way, and some of the water will go that way, and then he uses that to water his flowers.
Great.
It's basically a filled wetland that the house is in. Comes out flat to the stream, and the stream has a built edge and goes down into Walker Pond.
okay.
Anybody else?
Any other questions? Anybody in the audience like to speak on this?
I'm a neighbor, I have no objections to the project.
Well, we're really ahead of schedule. Could you come up and object to something anyway? All right, thank you. Yeah.
Like to make a motion to close the public hearing?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Ed Goodman in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor?
Ruth Bishop in favor.
With regards to 35 Wells Park Road, I'd like to make a motion that we issue a determination of a negative 3 with the agent's conditions laid out, a positive 2B, and a positive number 5.
All right. Second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor.
Or Bishop in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Right now we are,
She's online. Oh, Mark's online.
we're on 74 Lane, Paradise Lane. Notice of intent, construction of a permeable paver driveway. We have no,
They're online here.
But they're online.
Marcus.
There's no DEP
No file.
file.
no file number.
No file number has been issued.
So we can't approve it.
No,
Can't open the public hearing.
we can open it.
Hey, Mark.
Just can't close it.
Hello, folks.
Did we get the abutter notifications?
Yep, just for the record, we have proof of legal ad receipt and abutter notifications. Mark, when you're ready, you can go ahead and go over the project if you like. I'm going to zoom in on this plan. You can see it, right?
I can see it.
Okay.
Do you want to share my screen? I can pull my plan up and use my pointer, or you want me to work off of this one?
Yep.
All right.
Give me 1 minute here. Let me.
You're in control, Mark.
Go ahead, Mark.
Can you see my screen?
Oh, we see you.
Not my screen?
Not your screen, no, just you. But that's good enough for us. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I can't use my pointer then, but so basically, I'm Mark Farrell, Green Hill Engineering. I'm representing the Sanderson. I believe Lisa Sanderson's zoomed in as well. Basically, what they have is an existing gravel driveway, and they're proposing to replace it with a permeable paver drive. And so they're not really expanding the driveway at all. It would just be a replacement. So to put it in, what they would do is excavate out. The driveway was there, put about a foot of stone underneath. It'll give two things. It'll allow the rainwater that infiltrates in between the blocks to kind of infiltrate into the ground below, and it'll give them a little bit of storage as well. And then they'll put the pavers on top of it. And so they're not really changing the contours of the land or the drainage. So right now, the water in the front of the house is kind of directed towards the end of the driveway and towards the well. And in between the house and the little stone retaining wall is grassed. And so any excess water can just flow onto the lawn and then to continue to infiltrate in. Around the edges, they're just going to put field stone to kind of have a nice look. And that's pretty much what they're proposing to do.
Becky, anything?
So they did include detail of the blocks, and they provided a maintenance plan, which is what we've been asking for. Right, tight area, you know, whenever they do the excavation of this, they're gonna have to direct load and take it off site. They really don't have anywhere to stockpile, and, you know, they're not gonna reuse it. It would just be easier that way. So I would assume they would do that, but I would recommend that as a condition. And then just, right, with the typical conditions that we've had, that they make sure that they do the perpetual maintenance of that to make it stay permeable. So, no.
Well, they'll definitely have to remove the material because there's nowhere to put it, and it would just, they'll have to, what they dig out will have to be trucked away before they truck any stone as in the foundation or the underlayment for the pavers. So they're not going to stockpile any material on the site.
All right. Anybody in the audience like to speak? Anybody? Eric, Kenny?
Like to make a motion to issue a continuance until the 16th, and hopefully we'll have a DEP file number then. Does that work for you, Mark?
Second.
Yes, it does.
Yep. We have a second?
Second.
Yep. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor?
Ed Gooder in favor. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Yep,
too.
take care. We are now at 200 Haynes Street. Is it all right to open this?
I think we're,
It's a continuation, yep.
oh, yeah.
All right.
So just for the record, we do have Adrian, who's a representative on here from BSC Group. Summary of where we were at last time. We did vote for peer review. I did put RFP out for proposals. We did get 2 back. I do have them here. There's nothing really to look at that much. Both are people that we've used in the past. It's Ecotech Art Allen. He has a peer review proposal at a cost of $2,650. It does not include a coming to a meeting. That would be extra.
Yeah.
He said it would take him about, once he was authorized to proceed, about 3 weeks or so to do that. The other proposal we have, I mean, it's just this, so I don't know that you really need to see it, but it's from Ecosystem Solutions. It's Brandon Phaneuf that we've been using. His is $2,500. He said about the same time frame for that, and that proposal does include coming to a virtual meeting. So both are competent. We've used them in the past. Recommend either one.
Yeah, I do
If
too.
you want to go, Ecosystems is a little bit less for this, for the same services. It's up to
Who's
you.
less?
Ecosystem Solutions.
Is less?
Yeah.
Well,
But he said
actually,
he's-
you get more for that because it does include a meeting,
It
right?
does include a meeting, yeah.
But we had some capacity concerns there,
Yeah,
correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did reach out to him and ask him how long it would take to do this, if he had concerns, and he said he'd probably need about 2 meetings. He was assuming if we did meetings every 2 weeks, and I said we do them every 3 weeks, so November 16th and then December 7th. I don't think anyone would have it ready for our next meeting, which is only 3 weeks away, because we have to get the fee from them and then authorize them, and then they would schedule it. So I think he said he would have something for the December 7th meeting, sorry. So I think either one of them would be fine to have it for the December 7th meeting, based off of what they've said.
Oh, well, that being the case, then we should
Go with the
go with
lower
the
price.
less expensive option.
Yeah. Motion to,
I'd like to make a motion to accept the bid from Ecosystem
System Solutions.
Solutions.
seconded. Any discussion? Just go on record, I like them both, but I agree with you.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is, I've actually provided both these to Adrian already, and be up for them to provide the town with the fee, and then we will authorize them. Once we authorize them to start, they'll let us know what date they're gonna go out there, and what Adrian will do at that time is she will notify, or the applicant's representative will notify the adjacent property owners that the peer review will be being conducted.
All right. All in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor.
Ed Gooder in favor.
Adrian, was there anything else that you want to add?
I'm happy to answer any questions the commission may have.
And
If you
didn't hear
notice, Sturbridge Crossing has already provided us our,
Yep.
so thank you for that.
yeah, so Adrian, I know that Jean had provided, there was some comments from the abutters. I believe she provided them to BSC through the engineer.
Yes.
But, okay, so you have those, I thought so. Just realizing I didn't send them to you, but.
Should we set the date for sidewalk with the commission on this parcel in advance of
So
the December or the November?
Yeah, so next site visit date we have would be, I believe it's November 8th, before our November 16th meeting. Would you like to maybe set something then, or do you want to wait and do it right before the December 7th when we have the peer review report in hand?
I think it's at the pleasure of the commission.
I'd prefer to have
Earlier date, right?
the later date,
Okay.
when we already have the peer review in hand, and also gives us some time to research my concern
Okay,
around
yep.
the abutters.
Sounds good. Do
So
I have a
that-
second on that? Is that a proposal?
Yeah, I would say we do the December sidewalk.
Second, yeah.
So that would be November 29th. Wednesday, November 29th would be our site visit date before
Okay.
the December 7th. And that's good, that we'll have that peer review done by then, so.
Great.
All right.
That's better. I was a little worried about the holiday, so thank you. I'm glad to know it's the following week.
Do you have anything? You can come up to the microphone and state your name and address.
Barbara Murphy, 30 Betwood Drive. I just wanted a clarification when you're talking about the Wednesday, December site review. Is that include the abutters or not? That's a separate, abutters is a separate thing.
That would be separate. So the commission, we just set up a site visit for the commission to walk the property. So we'll just be walking that property to look at it. So, right, we just do that privately usually.
Okay, and then the only other comment we just wanted to make is that we haven't received any written notice from anyone at this point for a review.
Yes, so I did talk to Adrian about that. They're gonna wait until we knew when the peer reviewer was scheduling that site visit, and then they're gonna provide the notification prior to that. So that way they actually
Which
put the date on
you
it.
just heard us, we're in the process of picking the peer reviewer.
Yeah, I saw that, I heard
I don't
that.
even know, it'll be a surprise for them, you know.
Okay.
So
All right.
that'll get sent out, and I'll verify that for you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
That's it.
Continuation?
Wait a minute.
Continuation. You vote for continuation?
Yeah, continuation, that's what you said, continuation.
I'd like to make a motion to continue the public hearing until the,
Well, actually, should we just continue to December 7th?
right, that's what I was just gonna ask, yeah. To December 7th. Adrian, does that work for you? December 7th?
Yes, that is great. Thank you.
December 7th.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor. Thank you. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Adrian.
All right, so we are.
You're done?
Oh, we're ahead again.
What?
Well, we can do,
7:30.
We can do,
we can do 7:30.
New Boston Road.
7:35. It's just continuing.
If it's postponed, do we still have to wait for the hour, for the time?
Well, these ones were continued.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, if they're continued,
But that's a written request.
There's a written request.
Right.
if they're continued and we're not taking any action on them,
Right.
Right, I don't know, but if someone came on, I guess.
are we taking comments?
Carson,
if
are
we're
you able
just
to come on the
doing it?
8th?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think that on my mind, all right?
Yes? Sounds good. We don't have Eric, so I'm just wondering.
For what?
Our site visit.
Well, we
was
don't
it
have anything
continued?
new.
Oh, we were gonna,
Oh, we might have something new, we might. Who was that for? Oh, did it say if it was for Jalbert?
yeah,
Oh, it was Jalbert, oh. So, our deadline for our next meeting is
Halloween.
Halloween.
Ooh,
Knock on wood, we don't have anything new yet. We are aware of one project that may be coming in. As of right now, I don't think we have anything scheduled for a site visit because,
We're not going there.
yeah, we're not going to 200 Haynes. Well, yeah, we don't need to go to any of these other ones. We might not have site visits on the 8th then.
do we anticipate any issues with the cantilevers, and do we need to space them? Since they're all pretty much the same project, maybe do we need to space them 10 minutes apart, or can we space them 1 minute apart?
The difference about the cantilever docks is they're all sized different, so I don't know.
Well,
Some are double
Some are
down.
do you feel like there should be some complexity in the, just in the conversation?
Past the docks, the answer is yes.
Oh, okay. Right, let's
Yeah.
schedule them every 10, I guess, but
Yeah.
if we could schedule them every 1,
I know, yeah,
Those
that would be
four.
nice.
We're just doing
I
as
might
much.
change the order.
we can't do them as
Easiest
one.
ones as we
We
go.
gotta take 4 votes, but,
There's some that might be more of concern because they're asking for bigger areas or multiple docks and things of that nature, so,
One of them is 10 feet wide,
oh,
a dock,
yeah.
interesting.
going out 75 feet.
How far? 75?
That was a hyperbole.
So,
Oh.
yeah,
What is
I guess we
the-
shouldn't talk about them specifically, but the thing is, right, people are starting to want to put in these permanent structures because because the Board of Selectmen rules on the seasonal ones are much smaller. You
Yeah.
can't go out as far, you can't have as much square
They're 25
footage.
feet long.
Chapter 91 is for, you could be a marina, you could be, you know.
Quarter of the width of the lake you can go out. There's no really length except for you can't.
Quarter of the width of the lake?
Yeah. Because it's a lake, it's a river, it's a, you know, it's.
Yeah.
The water body, it
Yeah.
says the water
Yeah.
body, you can't go. quarter
And
of
they,
the
you
lake.
can have 600 feet of a structure, square feet of a structure too, where the town of Sturbridge for the seasonal ones is 200.
250.
I think it's 200,
So it's a big deal.
but,
Yeah.
so,
All right.
but we also,
So we're dealing with something different than we ordinarily
Yeah,
deal
yeah.
with? Okay, yeah, all right, that makes sense.
and there have been in the past, and I'm gonna have to pull out that information
We have approved, this board has approved them.
in the
What,
past.
3 other times, 4 other times?
So why do they want the dog?
Yeah, but
See, the thing
how
is,
recently?
We approved them.
200 square feet.
We
Years
approved
ago.
them under the auspices that the selectmen were the
Harbor
harbor
masters.
masters. And you're telling me now,
They're
from what
not.
I'm reading, that they are not the harbor masters.
Not for not for a permanent
Not for
structure,
cantilevered.
Yeah,
they are only the harbor masters for a seasonal structure.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's in here, and it references it's, you know,
So-
what does it say? It's chapter 91, section 10A, temporary moorings, floats, or rafts, permits issuance, blah, 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 blah. You know, a board of selectmen can act as a harbor master. If a town, lots of towns don't have that ability, so anything seasonal, everything goes to DEP waterways. Here, we can do all the seasonal stuff.
Yeah, but see, if you look, it says that the definition of docks is any structure connected to the shore, and you get the same thing from the harbor master, so the harbor master has, you know, jurisdiction.
All right, well, maybe we have to better review that, but,
Yeah, in no case shall the length exceed more than a quarter of the way
Yeah,
across the water
we
body.
don't want to have this conversation now.
No.
well, I think we got a couple minutes, but we don't want to talk about those projects specifically, but I guess
Yeah.
where the concerns are is, look, like,
Who has oversight?
as the ownership,
Right.
right?
We were having a terrible time with it as a conservation commission, and then we got the selectmen to take it. And they just put a thing in, a bylaw for, they're the harbor masters. And it pretty much all went away.
Okay. So can we add to my legal bill and just get an official review of what we need to know by the attorney? So we can have that information going into our
I was
hearings?
also thinking maybe they should do like a memo to the board of selectmen asking them like for their,
Input on it?
yeah. like-
Yeah, I would like to know where the Board of Selectmen is gonna weigh in here and where, you know.
I did reach out to the town administrator, and she thought it was that they only had oversight of seasonal, but she was gonna look into it some more.
I would think that we, as a board, we want to go to the selectmen.
Well, that's what I was thinking, if
Okay.
you wrote a memo, just to ask, you know.
Yeah,
What do you,
you know, that's my personal opinion. And I think we should, maybe we have to fashion a bylaw that gets put in.
okay. Do you want to discuss doing a memo now, or is this a later point in time? Do you want me to send them something now?
No, I think we probably should send them a memo here, so we can get them to weigh in, just requesting that they weigh in with their comments or direction, and maybe not direction, because we don't want them overstepping, but weigh in with their comments prior to our meeting on the 17th? Or 16th? 16th? And they have, what, 2 meetings between now and then?
I think they have one on Monday.
Yeah, so they'll have 2 meetings, so if we could quick put a memo together that they can at least be delivered to them on Monday, maybe they'll have a chance to review it, but they would have a chance to review it for the next meeting and give us our comments.
Who was it that mentioned Lake Quinsigamond to me? Was it you?
I did. I need to look into that.
They have a
more.
bylaw?
I have to look into that, so I A few years back is when DEP Waterways was really like pushing in DEP, saying, hey, people need to do Chapter 91 licenses. Make sure you're working with people and telling them that. So I sat in on a virtual presentation. I saved the workshop, and it did make reference to, I think it's only Lake Quinsigamon, they have the ability to be the harbor master for permanent structures. I got to go back and verify because it was only like little notes on there, but it was the only city or town that had that ability. But the town can ask for that too, and they could be the harbor master for permanent structures.
The only thing, it does appear that their meeting is on Monday, and the next one's after our next meeting. So
is it?
So what are we asked to do, to evaluate the impact?
We're asked to just approve them putting in structure.
Under the Wetlands Protection Act.
In the bylaw.
Can they do it?
Well, so under the Wetlands Protection Act, there's a couple different, when these structures come in, there's a couple different things we have to look at. So under the Wetlands Protection Act, so on the plan, what he's showing is a cantilever dock over the lake that's anchored into the ground, it's in the 25-foot no disturb under the bylaw area. So there's usually a bank impact associated with it, and then land behind that, they dig out and they pour concrete and they set these I-beams in it, and that acts as a counterweight. So there's a lot of ground disturbance associated with it. So it's buffer zone and our no disturb area. These properties a lot of them have shoreline walls or concrete there. So we have to look at bank impact, and bank under the act and the bylaw is significant for certain purposes. When it's already an altered area, it's not necessarily significant. So if you got a concrete pad there already, which some of them do, it's not important for wildlife habitat. So that's not really a concern. And then you look at if they were putting something on, so the lake bed is the land underwater. So if you're altering that land underwater, that's an impact too. I did reach out to DEP about shading, if shading was a concern, and that's looked at on a case-by-case basis. The areas where a lot of these docks would be going in, if there's areas that have a lot of submerged aquatic vegetation, and then you put something over and it shades that.
Why do they want to put in the dock? It's not their property. And so
boats, they can have boats, they have different boats, multiple boats they want to attach to it.
They have a right to access the water.
Who was it, Galileo, that said that if you had a crowbar long enough, you could lift the earth? Was he the one? The other philosopher.
You're a philosopher.
But the point is, you got a shoreline, right? Shoreline goes along like this, right? Okay, now this is the 50 feet that the owner owns, okay? He wants to put in a dock, a cantilevered dock, okay? And he wants to make it 10 feet wide, okay? So the first thing he does, and I don't know, there's no setback from the side?
Yeah, 25 feet.
25 feet? Well, the ones we saw that were not, okay? So, on your street. So anyway, so the point is that in order to have a 10-foot, they put out I-beams, right? I don't know how many they put out, but put out I-beams. But this is the gang. Okay, and these are dangerous. How high up are they? Okay, so you get the high water mark plus all the structure plus what, 6 inches, let's call it, for a clearance?
I think so.
They're way up, okay? So then you come back and you're going to put a cantilever on the ground, right?
Cantilever.
A big slab.
Oh, the counterweight.
What?
The counterweight. They pour a big block.
So that counterweight is going to be like that. It's going to be.
And that's on the 25.
And it is the 25. Period. So you really, and then
no structure zone.
Well, yeah, the no structure zone, right? So then what they do is they cover the dock with boards all the way out, right? So now you have, not only do you have more, you're out further on the water, plus you've got a huge patio on your lawn that you didn't have before, and you didn't have the right to build before. So there's an issue.
So there's a few of them that are different. Like there's one that has a stone patio, that'll be a patio again. There's some that's lawn, but there's some that will have deck portions on there. So with that being in the 25-foot no disturb area, it requires a waiver. So they need to show that they've provided an alternative analysis to minimize their impact. So one of the things that...
Sounds like a seasonal dock would be an alternative.
You know, and, you know, go back the other way. They cantilever docks, if they're tucked on the edge and they're 3 feet wide, and they go out 25 feet, they're good.
Right.
Right, as soon as you, if you have to have it 25 feet from the, neighboring property line, da-da-da-da-da. So at any rate, we got a lot to.
So it's not a minute per, is what you're saying.
You changed your vote about that? You changed your mind?
Yeah, I changed I was just asking the question.
No, it was an excellent question.
Look at us, we're back, we talked through our schedule.
Yeah, so we can go back
A
to
few motions.
number 13.
Number 13 is
Motion to
263 New Boston Road, and they want a continuation.
I'd like to make a motion to issue a continuation to the 16th of November for DEP file number 1166.
Second.
All in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor?
Ed Goodwin in favor.
Ooh.
14.
Is this one ever going to come in front of us?
212, 216, and 226 Charlton Road.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to issue a continuance until December 7th for DEP file number 300-1172. Is this even open?
No, it's postponed. We didn't even open it.
Oh, true.
Did they get the DOT approval?
Yeah, so not
They don't
continue,
have
postpone.
So then we don't even have to go, we just went through.
Technically, it's a postponement. We
Yeah.
don't need
Well, it's postponed. We're all.
Yeah, they've asked not to even open it, so.
All right. Do I have a
I need one
motion?
more motion.
To adjourn?
That sounds like a motion to me.
What?
I'll second that, Karsten.
All in favor? We don't have anything else, do we, Beck?